be mindful that this family's trying to work through this situation of something that I would describe as a horrific crime.
The words there from Police Chief Kenny Cavanaugh on the scene of a gruesome murder in a Jeffersonville, Indiana neighborhood today. Police found a man dead in his home, and just blocks away, they made an arrest after a 4-hour-long SWAT standoff outside a different house. Police arrested the man on your screen here in connection with the murder. The suspect's name is Bryce Wienecke. Booked into the Clark County Jail tonight. We want to warn you, the details you're about to hear are graphic. Authorities say Wienecke is a family member of the victim, and late tonight, a Jeffersonville PD spokesperson confirmed they found a headless body at the crime scene. Thanks so much for joining us here at 11. I'm Isaiah Kim Martinez. Starting this morning, police had to secure 2 locations in connection to this murder. The night team's Jose Alonso and photojournalist Emma Gefter show us the standoff and spoke with neighbors who were shaken up by it all.
A hectic day for Jeffersonville, Indiana police. An hours-long SWAT standoff after they found a man dead in his home. This taped off property on Summerlin Place.
This is totally just unbelievable.
It's out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
From our Sky 11 drone, you can see the streets of this neighborhood on Callaway Drive riddled with police cars. Neighbors standing outside, concerned.
We are investigating a homicide. This occurred at approximately 9:56 a.m. this morning.
Authorities worked for hours to detain a person of interest, who they call a family member of the victim, inside a home just blocks away.
About a 4-hour standoff of trying to communicate with the person inside. We were able to have him come outside where he was detained and taken without incident.
Most of the residents along Summerlin Place are much older and shy, but did tell me how they've lived here for around 20 years. We spoke with some of them about how they felt about the situation.
Everybody just speaks and waves, and we just don't have anything like that. I got a call from one of my church members asking if I was okay.
Some of us keep in contact, but nobody ventures too far anymore. I guess it's the age where we're at. But I can't imagine anything like that happening in our neighborhood.
Police say it was a rather brutal, isolated killing within a family.
Can you advise, was it a firearm involved?
No firearm. We don't know where his head is.
Sandy Cook lives next to the house and spoke with WHAS11's Travis Breeze about her neighbor.
He waved when he went by, and he said, "Hi, Sandy," occasionally, but lots of times he would walk by and never speak at all.
Police say there's no risk to the community, but these Hoosiers say they'll keep a close watch on each other from here on out. As for police, they're going through the evidence to determine a motive and seek charges. In Jeffersonville, Jose Alonso, WHAS 11 Night Team, on your side.
Now, Clark County Prosecutor Jeremy Moll told us that his office will officially file charges against the suspect on Monday.
But I'll also ask not just the community for information, but these 2 kids that did these homicides, they have parents. Mm-hmm. They have family members. Somebody needs to turn them in. Mm-hmm. These cycles of violence are called cycles for a reason, and they are likely to end up dead if you do not turn them in.
Across the river here in Louisville, LMPD Chief Paul Humphrey is asking for your tips on the people responsible for shooting and killing 2 Louisville mothers in separate incidents this week. Today, we have new information on both shootings. Police now say 23-year-old Rhodesia Williams was targeted. She was gunned down walking her 7-year-old daughter to the school bus stop on Wednesday. That was on 10th and Chestnut Streets. Later on, in a separate and unrelated shooting, Jeremiah Offit, mother of three and pregnant with a baby boy, was caught in the crossfire of a shooting at a market on 41st and Broadway. Police say 2 groups of young people approached each other in the parking lot. One person fired and unintentionally hit Offit. Today, we asked if these shootings were gang-related.
Louisville does have a youth gang problem and involved in violent crime, so that would be an assumption at this time that it is gang-related.
There's gangs here, and they're trying to take over, just killing and shooting people, and their kids.
Now, police do not believe the cases are related here, but they did say we're trying to correct this here. Williams was killed at the same bus stop where shots were fired on the first day of school for JCPS students. Police say in that case, they arrested two 15-year-olds. A GoFundMe has been set up for Jeremiah Offit's family to help pay funeral costs. You can find the link on the links mentioned tab. That's on WHAS11.com. LMPD is asking for the public's help to find the vehicle believed to be involved in a hit and run. This happened earlier this week on the 11th. A bicyclist was hit near the intersection of Chamberlain Lane and Chamberlain Court. They believe the vehicle involved a Ford Taurus model year between 2013 and 2019 in a black or dark gray color, and it should have damage to the radiator, cooling fan, and left headlight. LMPD is asking anyone with information to contact the tip line. That's at 574 LMPD. Now to the historic high-stakes summit between President Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin, the two leaders in Anchorage, Alaska, for talks as the U.S. seeks a ceasefire in the Russia-Ukraine war. A news conference wrapped up earlier this evening after the two sides met behind closed doors. ABC's Christian Cordero is in Anchorage with what we've learned.
Tonight, President Trump and Russian President Putin shaking hands and smiling before the cameras following a highly anticipated meeting between the two countries.
We really made some great progress today. I've always had a fantastic relationship with President Putin, with Vladimir. We had many tough meetings, good meetings.
I expect that today's agreements will be the starting point, not only for the solution of the Ukrainian issue, but also will help us bring back business-like and pragmatic relations between Russia and the U.S.
But it's not clear what the two sides agreed to. Today's talks happened behind closed doors at Joint Base Elmendorf-Richardson in Anchorage, Alaska. As the two met on the tarmac, a B-2 bomber and 4 F-35 fighter jets flew overhead, a symbol of American military might. And then with the backdrop of pursuing peace, the U.S. delegation led by President Trump, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, and the Joint Chiefs of Staff sitting across their Russian counterparts. One key person not in attendance, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. Trump said he'd call and tell him about the meeting. In recent weeks, Russia has escalated its attacks. July was the deadliest month for Ukrainian civilians since May 2022. Zelensky is now calling today's strikes a sign Putin is not prepared to end the war. Zelensky wants a ceasefire and security guarantees that would protect Ukraine from further Russian aggression. At the end of the meeting, Vladimir Putin suggested the next meeting would be in Moscow. President Trump replying he'll get a little heat, but could see it happen. Today's joint press conference was, in a word, vague. Trump and European leaders have been adamant about the need for a ceasefire agreement, and today, with Trump and Putin standing side by side, no ceasefire was announced. Christian Cordero, ABC News, Anchorage, Alaska.
Meanwhile, in Washington, the White House is inviting Indiana's elected officials to D.C. to discuss ways Hoosiers can partner with the Trump administration to implement his agenda. That's according to an email sent by the Office of Intergovernmental Affairs. The meeting would be later this month as speculation swirls over whether Indiana will call a special session to consider redrawing their congressional maps. This week, a handful of Indiana Republican lawmakers said they're against the move.
I think if we go into session, people will be mad. I think if we don't go into session, people will be mad. I think that obviously, I think my votes have shown that I don't like a lot of spending, and I don't like to do things that are frivolous. This is obvious.
The email from the White House does not mention redistricting, but it's worth noting it was sent days before Vice President J.D. Vance visited the Indiana State House to meet with Governor Mike Braun and other state Republicans. More news here at 11 in eastern Kentucky. A new twist in the murder case of a local judge gunned down in his courthouse chambers nearly a year ago today. Tonight, attorneys for former Letcher County Sheriff Sean Mickey Steins, you see there, they're asking for a $50,000 bond. Steins is accused of fatally shooting District Judge Kevin Mullins in Whitesburg, Kentucky. Defense attorneys argue Steins, who has been in jail since the murder, is not a flight risk and poses no danger to the community, so he should get bail. Prosecutors, though, say a person charged with a capital offense is not entitled to a bond. Today, the judge on this case did not yet rule on that request, but did say he'd decide quickly in order to get a trial date on the books. Today, the Kentucky Gun Company announced its Louisville location will be temporarily closed, and here's why. A portion of the store's roof collapsing today. The cause of the collapse is unknown. No injuries, thankfully, were reported. The store is currently working with contractors and inspectors to rebuild. It's expected to reopen in about 3 months. You can continue shopping on their online store or at the Bardstown location. The Louisville Metro Animal Shelter is temporarily stopping cat intakes due to the overwhelming number of strays already held. LMAS officials understand the decision may frustrate some in the community. LMAS wrote on social media saying, quote, "The alternative is cats come in and cats here are euthanized for space, and we do not want to do that." The shelter said it will begin accepting cat intakes again starting Monday. That's August 19th at noon. If you're interested in adopting or fostering an animal at LMAS, you can visit our website. Also tonight, the Fraser History Museum has been voted the best museum in Kentucky. Kentucky's Living annual Best in Kentucky Awards highlight things like restaurants, destinations, and people. Voting took place back in May, and the Fraser took the top spot. Part of that reason may be the Fraser is continually growing. In the past year, it opened exhibitions on love and marriage in Kentucky and historic photography all across the state. And painters are putting the finishing touches on a new mural on the side of the Fraser you see here. Designed by Doe Anderson, the colorful mural promotes tourism and previews stories and objects found inside Kentucky's largest history museum, including KFC, the disco ball, the Corvette, the original Cabbage Patch doll, and the oldest Civil War monument. The mural is on the side of the building that is on 9th Street.